Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to do just a quick doodle tonight. Like, this whole thing took like an hour from start to finish, and it's not even, sometimes you just want to doodle. Like, it's not one of those like fancy, has to be perfect type of art pieces, but really I just was thinking about like sleep. So I have a really hard time sleeping at night, and I take medications for my bipolar, and I take it at night. It also helps me sleep, and then like the next day it helps regulate my mood, and it sometimes doesn't even work for like the sleeping part. I find myself just laying in bed for hours and hours staring and thinking, and my brain won't turn off. And then when I finally do fall asleep, it's like 2 in the morning, and I have like the weirdest freaking dreams. Like, dreams are so wild. Like, it's so hard to explain a dream, and sometimes it feels like they go on forever and ever and ever, and they just don't stop. And then like I also have lucid dreaming, so like sometimes it's like my brain kind of wakes up halfway through the dream, and then you can kind of start controlling the scenario a little bit, but almost only to a certain extent, because it seems like you don't have full control, which kind of ticks you off. You know what I mean? Because I've had dreams that have bothered me so much, and then I'd start lucid dreaming, and I would want to change the scenario so badly, but I could only do so much. And it was almost like something was forcing me to not be able to unlock that part of that power we have to fully control it. You know what I mean? So then you're just kind of like, it's so weird. I can't even. It's so weird. Like, for example, there was one time I had this dream where I was in downtown square, and there were all these baby doll parts piled up. Like, I'm talking huge piles of baby doll parts, and they were just disgusting. And then I started digging through them, and I found a real baby, but he was all beat up and like awful looking, and he was in a like a carrier. And I started crying and calling the police in my dream. And then I started lucid dreaming. Like, I realized I was dreaming. I was kind of like in that half awake state. And then the police on the phone kept saying, "Don't touch the baby." And I kept like fighting them, forced myself to grab the baby out of the carrier. And because I did that, like I got legally in trouble. And next thing you know, I'm in court before a judge, and I kept screaming about how I wanted to take care of the baby because someone threw it away and beat it up, and the judge was like, "You touched the baby when you weren't supposed to, so you don't get to have the baby." And I was screaming, and I woke up so mad because I couldn't like change the scenario. You know what I mean? It was so weird. It was only like I had only control of my actions, but I couldn't change the mindset of the dream judge. I don't freaking know. I can't even with it. Y'all, it like stresses me out. So I'm over here doodling, and I'm remembering the last dream that I had. And I for like a really long time, like I have these dreams about bathrooms. Where like I sometimes I'll be dreaming like I'm in this random house, and the house just goes on and on and on forever, like turn after turn, room after room, infinite hallways, stairs that lead to nowhere. And sometimes there'll be multiple bathrooms in the house, and the shower is always going. Like, it's really wild. And in this particular dream, I was a duck, and I had baby ducks that were following me, and we were in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. So zombies were chasing us. We were in a house and running all through the house. Zombies were chasing us, and like the goal was to try to get out of the house, but I kept ending up at the bathroom. So that was really wild. And then like the entire time you feel like you're being watched, And like, it felt like we were in the country. It didn't feel like we were in a big city or anything. It was such a surreal dream, you know, but it was like really fast paced, and, you know, like our lives were at stake. It was kind of cuckoo bananas. But I'll tell you one thing though too, like I have got to have a fan going on in my room, you know, like the whole bottom half of me is out of the covers and the fan has to be blowing on my legs, you know. If I get any kind of hot in the middle of the night, like I'll start like panicking and I'll wake up in like a cold sweat, like freaking out, you know. Can't get comfortable. It's like the older I get, like the worse that gets, because I mean years ago it was just a foot, then it turned into 2 feet, and now it's like from my butt cheeks all the way down, like the legs are out, you know. And I know that drives my husband crazy because he doesn't like having the fan on at night, because like, you know, he's a mouth breather. He sleeps with his mouth like wide open and it gives him a sore throat in the morning, bless his heart. So, you know, it really is a good thing that like he works nights and I work days, because he's not even home, you know, so I can do whatever I want with the fan. It's just on the weekends that we kind of have that little disagreement. But even still, he's not hardly home on the weekends either. That guy spends his weekends playing poker and fishing, so we hardly see him, you know. And when he does come home in the middle of the night, like he sleeps on the couch. So works out in my favor. You know, and I've asked him, like, do you ever dream? And he does not ever remember his dreams. And it's so weird hearing from people who don't remember having a dream, you know? Like, I guess it's just black. I don't know what it is. But, like, I swear, it's like I dream every freaking night, you know? And I don't always remember my dreams, but I remember, like, the essence of them. Like, I could remember, oh, I had a bad dream. Or I had a weird dream. But it's so hard to explain them sometimes, you know, because it really is this ultra surreal experience, and like what the heck is even happening. And then sometimes you'll have multiple different scenarios going on almost simultaneously, like this will merge into that, which will bleed into this, it'll go back to the beginning. Like, it's a wild freaking trip. And I know I talked about this in like a previous video where I had a dream discussion, and like I even like mentioned, like, I don't usually have like pleasant dreams or good dreams. And I mean, that's still the case. Like, and even if you do have a good dream, like, I don't remember it, you know? I usually remember the weird ones. And they're so disturbing. Oh, man. I used to have this reoccurring dream when I was a kid that my dad was trying to kill me, you know? He would like be at the door, and it would be like raining outside, and there would be like an old lady babysitter, and the door would like fly open, lightning would crack, and he'd be standing there with this deranged look on his face and his like black trench coat, and he'd have a knife and he'd come at me, and we'd always end up in the kitchen. He'd slice the head off the old lady who was trying to get him off me, and then like he'd be trying to cut my knee. It was always my knee. It was so weird. Like, he'd have me by the leg, and then I'd wake up freaking out, you know? And I had that dream like multiple times as a kid, like recurring. And then there was like another one I had quite a few times where I was like in a house being chased by a dog, and I'd go room to room to room, but the dog would always be like right there, you know, but there was never any escape from the house. One time I had a dream, and I was this was when I first had my first kid, you know, so she was a baby, and I dreamt that I was in a house and there were zombies like all over the place, so I couldn't get out of the house, so I thought we were safe in the house, and then like a giant bear come bursting through the house like the Kool-Aid man, and I killed the bear and skinned it and wore its head as a hat. Man, I was on top of the world, man. Like, your girl could take on a whole bear. The mom strength really came in. You know, and the whole time, like, my baby was in the dream too, you know, so I felt like this maternal instinct that I had to keep her safe. Like, it was so crazy. What even is this video? I don't even know. I just felt like talking and just doodling like haphazardly. And so yeah, I guess that's it. I don't know. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments some of your weird dreams, and I hope y'all have a great day. I'll catch you later. Bye.